Hi, I'm Katrina and I'm the social media manager here at The Motley Fool. We're here to answer your investing questions, and I've got a batch in from Facebook and Twitter. I'm going to send them down to our analysts who will answer them with their foolish opinions.
Wayne from Twitter asks, how dangerous is the current US debt problem?
That's a very interesting question, and actually a lot of experts disagree on it. But let me give you my take. Basically, US debt to GDP right now is about 70%, which is not really unprecedented or terribly, terribly dangerous. We're certainly not in a crisis mode right now. And one big reason for that is that the US is able to borrow that money very cheaply. You can't just look at how much debt there is, but it's also very important the cost of that debt. And right now, the US government can borrow money, we're talking 10-year bonds at under 2%, which is extraordinarily cheap. And the reason for that is that US debt is perceived, and rightly actually, is perceived to be as one of the safest assets in the world. I mean, when you compare it to other things that you could be investing in, stocks, corporate debt, European debt, it really you begin to see why US debt is perceived as the closest thing, one of the closest things to a risk-free asset. And that's especially the case when you consider where our budget deficit is coming from. To a large degree, really it's just the result of a bad economy, which means lower tax revenues and higher expenses, on things like unemployment insurance, Social Security payments, that sort of thing. Once the economy improves, a lot of that's going to reverse itself. And if you add to that mix some, mixture of tax increases and spending cuts, it's pretty easy in, the medium term to get the deficit to be in a safe place. The real worry is actually over the long term, and pretty much all of that is just about rising healthcare costs. There's a few ways that we could deal with that. For example, it could be that healthcare costs just don't rise as much as people expect them to. They haven't been rising as much in the past couple of years as they had in previous years, so it's possible that that trend will continue. Another solution could be just to cut people's healthcare. Or we could try to find ways to lower healthcare costs so that we're providing, the same level of care but at a lower cost to what we currently do in the country, which is what many other countries actually do. So bottom line is, in my opinion, over the near to medium term, the government's debt isn't nearly as big an issue as people are making it out to be. The deficit is pretty fixable, using some mixture of tax increases and spending cuts over the medium term. And over the long term, the key issue there is going to be learning how to deal with healthcare costs.
And now we want to hear from you. Ask us your investing questions on Facebook and Twitter. You can go to facebook.com/themotleyfool or tweet @themotleyfool or use #AskAFool. I'll see you online.